G'day everyone, Lighthouse is here, a new PC port for Banjo Kazooie. Now why would you want to use this port of Banjo Kazooie when there's already a lovely Banjo Kazooie recompile port out there? Well, there's a few reasons, but the main reason being BK Anchour, which allows you to play Banjo Kazooie with synced co-op online with friends. What are these differences? Well, I may explain in a later video down the line. However, in this video, I will be showing you how to set up Lighthouse and how to make it work with Windows PC and the SteamDeck, specifically on Linux, as well as showing you how to connect with other users via Anchour with the inbuilt randomizer. The first thing you need to do is head on over to github.com/harbourmasters/lighthouse. The link is in the description below, and once you're there, head to the releases page. Alternatively, however, you can head to the new Harbour Masters website where you can download all of their other Harbour Master ports. These ports are Ship of Harkonnen, Ocarina of Time, 2-Ship 2 Harkonnen, Majora's Mask, Ghost Ship, Super Mario 64, Spaghetti Kart, Mario Kart 64, Starship, Star Fox 64, and of course, now Lighthouse, which is Banjo Kazooie. It should also detect your OS and download the correct version, which will be Windows, Linux, and Mac OS versions. There are no Android ports for this game, and later in this video I will show you another way to download this game, showcasing the GitHub launcher. Once you have your folder downloaded and extracted, it should look something like this. You'll have a Lighthouse exe and some other files plus an assets folder. Once these files are available, open up the lighthouse.exe and it'll then ask you to create a .o2r file. This file is created by selecting our Banjo Kazooie ROM, and at this point, I have to stress, I cannot provide a Banjo Kazooie ROM for legal reasons. Neither can Harbour Masters. You have to supply your own ROM. The ROMs that are supported are most of the ROMs that are out there, including the PAL version and Japanese versions of the game, as well as both USA versions of Banjo Kazooie. If you're unsure if your ROM file will work, well, the Harbour Master team have created a Harbour Master ROM compatibility checker. You can check that in the link in the description below. Once you have selected your ROM, it will take quite a while to re-encode that ROM into a .o2r format. This process will vary depending on your PC. Do not worry if it takes a while. After this process is done, the game will auto-magically launch the game. From here, we can start to look at the enhancements that have been put into this port: Anchor, bug fixes, and the inbuilt randomizer. To access this menu, you first need to press the escape key on Windows. Our first option is our general settings option, and here we'll find very useful stuff like save importing and exporting, which will be cross-compatible with recompile, emulation, and hardware save files. If you have one you want to bring over, feel free to use it. Keep this in mind, however, because we will be using this feature later for co-op randomizer runs. In the audio setting tab, it's fairly straightforward. There is just master volume knob. Maybe later on there'll be a way to adjust background, voice dubs, and item pickup sounds. But for now, it's just the master audio switch here. Next, we have our big ticket item for these PC ports: graphics. In here, we can adjust the internal resolution of the base game, we can force aspect ratios, and also let auto adjust to the screen window. Also here, we can adjust the frame rate, which will allow us to go from the original 30 FPS to a high refresh rate target, which goes all the way up to 360 FPS. However, I would just recommend ticking the box that says match refresh rate, as this will automatically adjust the refresh rate to your monitor's refresh rate. The next three tabs we can just gloss over quickly. They are controls, where you adjust your controls, input viewer, which will show you your inputs on your screen, and notifications, which will pop up when something happens, like someone joins your Anchor lobby or leaves your Anchor lobby. The next two tabs are very exciting: the mod menu, where user-made mods can be added, and the ROM hack menu, where you can generate ROM hacks like Jiggies of Time. Once you have generated your ROM hack from the ROM of that ROM hack, you can then use that ROM hack mod in the mod menu, so that way it will load that ROM hack in the next restart. Only one ROM hack can be activated at a time. I do plan to do a separate piece later on which one of these ROM hacks are fully playable and which aren't. Subscribe and comment below if that interests you. Now at the top of the screen, we have a few more menu tabs to cycle through: Enhancements, Network, DevTools, and Rando. Enhancements tab contains various pre-built mods and enhancements to the base Banjo Kazooie game, from cutscene skipping, increased draw distance, cheats, and remove snacker, and other minor game issue fixes. Most interesting here is the gameplay tab, where you can increase the difficulty of the game and add permanent death. Basically, when you die, you're dead. That's it, and the game's reset and you have to start from the beginning, as well as access to all stop and swap locations. Next, in the saving tab, we can edit our game so that when you die or leave a level, you can retain not only notes, Bajinjos, and Mumbo tokens and Jiggies. Speaking of Jiggies, in TUI Backport, we can enable TUI Jiggy Collection, which speeds up the Jiggy collection to be like TUI. At the very bottom of these tabs, which won't interest a lot of you, but if you're keen on speedrunning, there is a tracker for your gameplay timer, allowing you to track and beat your own in-game time. The next top tab is the Network tab. It is here where we'll connect to our friends via co-op in Anchour, but I'll talk about this in more depth later on. After that is Dev Tools, which includes a save editor, but it'll be mostly useful to people who want to find out crash reports, creating mods, and the final tab is the Randomisor tab, which I'll also talk about later on. As for now, it's time to talk about installing Lighthouse on SteamDeck/Linux. If you have a Steam machine, SteamDeck, or a Linux device, the process for installing the game is relatively similar to the Windows version. First, you head to the GitHub, download the Linux version instead, and then go from there. But instead, we will use the GitHub launcher for this. This GitHub launcher is a fantastic app for tracking PC ports in general, which can be downloaded via the link in the description below. This app works with Mac, Linux, and Windows. Once you have downloaded your app, there will be a Manage App tab on the left. Once we click on this, then at the top, we can enter the app catalog. In this app catalog, we can see which PC ports can be downloaded. Feel free to scroll through these yourself. Maybe you'll find something else that you will like and want to play. There's also separate AI-assisted apps from human-coded apps. And in the N64 section, you'll find both Banjo Recomp and Lighthouse apps. Lighthouse is the BK port that is being showcased in this video, but as of this recording, Banjo Recomp has had an update to fix a lot of long-standing issues with its version. In order to install the app, we first have to click the add button on the app we desire to add to our own personal app collection. Once we have done this, we have to go back to our Manage Apps, where we can now see Lighthouse is here, and it'll tell us what version is installed and if it is the latest version. We then click on the download symbol, which will give us a drop-down menu where we can select which version we want for our operating system. It will default to your operating system being at the top of the list. From here, we can select our Banjo Kazooie ROM like normal, and it'll produce a .02r file for us. Now for the fun stuff: co-op, Anchour, and randomizers. We'll be starting with the randomizer. Let's go back to the escape menus quickly, and we'll go to the randomizer tab. The very first option is to check to enable rando. When you hover over this input, it specifically says enables randomizer on your next new save file. Our first drop-down menu also lets us choose between glitchless and no logic. What this option means is that in order to beat this game, the glitchless adds some logic to the game, so you cannot get hard stuck with not having the ability to progress. No logic throws us out the window, and your talent shot or shoot egg skill could be the very last molehill in the game that you find. Your Banjo Kazooie knowledge and skills will be tested to your absolute limit in these two modes. The next two tabs in this list will be options for your randomizer run. What do you want shuffled, and which skills do you want earned starting out to not make it too difficult to proceed? The final tab is our tracker for each note, jiggy, item, and skill. Now the reason why I showed the randomizer before Anchour is because you can play randomizer seeds with your friends. In order to do this, first you must start your randomizer seed and save your game. Once this is done, go to the first tab in the settings menu and export your save file, then send it to whomever you want to play with. Now in the network tab, choose your host name and your player name, then come up with a unique room ID. This is your password for people to join. Once this has been done and everyone uses the same room ID and they have showed joined at the bottom of the screen, if there is not a warning sign, and this warning sign would mean someone does not have the correct randomizer seed or their version of Lighthouse isn't congruent with the other users. If you don't have any issues, just load up the Banjo Kazooie game as you would normally. As I was testing, however, I found that there was quite a bit of lag connecting via Wi-Fi on my SteamDeck to my PC. I'm not sure how this hosting and porting works as regarding connections between peers and hosts. At least as a gimmick, however, it is working. It probably doesn't help that I'm Australian, so I assume that my packets are being sent from Australia to America and then back to Australia, which would be a 600-ish MS round trip for my poor SteamDeck. What I'm getting at is results may vary depending on location and connection speeds. With this, it brings us to the end of the video. It was a long one for sure, and I hope it has helped you in some way or another to play Banjo Kazooie Lighthouse PC port. If you could, share the video and like the video and subscribe. All these things help the channel grow and grow. And when the channel grows, the content gets better. It's a proven fact. Leave a comment below about what other PC ports you're excited for. For me personally, the Donkey Kong 64 recompile and the Paper Ship Paper Mario 64 PC port are high on my list. Both don't have the best emulation versions for their respective games, and Paper Mario in particular lags like hell and has seams everywhere. Anyway, that's all from me, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.